Hey, Mega Moms, Jessica Hensley here with Real Estate Mega Moms, where we help moms create a life and a business that they love. And today, Stefanie Stockberger, my partner here at Mega Moms, we're going to be talking about the fourth quarter review. This has been a series that we've discussed. We talked a lot about your business. We talked about your being on a team. We've talked about your lead gen strategies. We're going to talk about your self-care routine and what we need to do to preserve our mental health. So it's not just about business. So let's dive into that topic now. Oh my goodness, Steph.
I love it.
Self-care.
I love it. So your fourth quarter review shouldn't just be about business. What is this?
Right.
What is this?
Right. I know, and I feel like you could sort of go either way. People listening and you may be thinking, "Oh my gosh, that's all everyone talks about. I just want to hear about business." But the truth is, if you aren't taking care of yourself, you're not going to be able to show up for your family, for your clients, for yourself. I mean, it's not that we're being selfish or, there's just like this love of self. The Bible warns about that, right? Men will be lovers of their own selves. But the truth is God wants us even to take care of our bodies, to take care of ourselves, to love each other as we love ourselves. If you can't respect yourself, if you don't see, the value in who you are as God's child, you can't treat other people the way he wants you to treat them as well. So I don't know, Stefanie, I don't know if you ever go there, but when I hear self-care, self-love, I'm like, red flags go up for me of like, oh, that's prideful. We shouldn't be so concerned with ourselves. And so therefore, sometimes we neglect ourselves out of, it's like this badge of honor sometimes to, I'm going to do for others and sacrifice, what I want. Do you ever feel like that, Steph?
Oh, girl, there's so much to unpack with what you said. Yes. I think I have always felt that I think I ran away from caring for myself or admitting that it's okay to care for yourself because for all the reasons that you just said, I think that I was always worried about focusing myself because it would maybe be too prideful in a lot of different ways. And I think that the older that I'm getting, it's just like, wait a second, because I think that I didn't worry about myself in so many ways that now it's like, whoa, because of that, now I'm crumbling apart. And because of that, now I'm not able to maybe care for others the way that I used to because I didn't care for myself. So, there's a lot to unpack in what you just said. And I think that it's important for us to remember that we are human beings and that we need to nurture ourselves in a lot of ways. And we need to nurture our hearts. We need to nurture our souls. We need to nurture our bodies. And that's important. And we deserve that. We are human beings and that God would want that for us. I look at God as, our father, and our father, my dad, would totally want me to love myself, to nurture myself, to take care of myself. And I think that, and I know God would want that. And there's a way to do that humbly and not over boastfully. So yeah, those are all good things.
Yeah. Well, a couple things come up for me. One, when I'm working with a client or really anybody, if I am sacrificing and there's not appreciation given, then what that brings up for me is resentment. And so what I have had to remind myself is I have to ask myself this before I make decisions. Is the person that I'm going to offer this discount to or exception by letting them, have my time outside of my boundary? is it going to be appreciated? And how will I feel if it's not? Am I prepared? Am I okay with not not being appreciated for the sacrifice? And I think that's where we get in trouble as real estate moms and women in this business. We go above and beyond. That's our natural tendency as women to be nurturing. We look for problems, we solve them without being asked. That's one of our feminine qualities, how God made us. And sometimes we allow ourselves to be taken advantage of, and then resentment breeds and burnout comes from that. And then who gets the brunt of our burnout? Typically our families, typically our kids or our spouses. And so that's why it's so important. Even though we're talking about self-care here, it's important to have boundaries in your business. It's important to um, not to really have a good established way of doing business and not go outside of that unless you are prepared to, to give without receiving.
You mentioned the word resentment, and how many grandmas, I think of grandmas out there, or even and grandpas, how many angry grandma and grandpas have you seen out there where they're like bitter and angry? And I mean, then there's the lovely, like fun ones and loving. And I think the angry ones at the end of their life are resentful because they have they've bent their boundaries so much, and they probably were like these joyful people that did so much and bent so much that they became so resentful and bitter, because I can feel that. The more that I bend my boundaries and the more that I give for people that don't appreciate it, the more resentful you can feel, and you can start to feel bitter. And then you get more bitter because you do more and you get less appreciation. But really, honestly, I think comes back on us, because I feel like we need to respect our own boundaries. And again, this kind of ties into some self-care, but we need to respect ourselves more and say no, because it's really us doing the things that we shouldn't do, and the people aren't appreciating us because we're allowing it to happen, and then we're becoming bitter. I've got some really good friends that are wonderful at this. They do things for other people. They don't even have to ask, and I see their heart. They want to give, but the people aren't even asking for them to give, and then they're thankless, and then these people are so bitter about it. And I just like, oh no, of course they're not going to be thankful. Of course they're not going to be thankful. And
Yeah.
I can see the bitterness start to get, a hold of them. And I can see to myself too, because I'm like, I want to make people happy. I love it. So of course I'm just like, I just want to make you so happy. And sometimes people just, they don't appreciate it because they don't care. They're just like, oh, you're going to do that for me? Wonderful. But they don't even really ask, obviously. We need to watch those things. We need to
Mhm.
watch those things. So
Yeah.
that
And
kind of
sometimes
does
they
tie
just don't
into this. Yes.
they don't think about it. They have their own whatever going on. Um so let's talk about it. So how can this fourth quarter review, what are some things that we can review in our lives that where we can kind of take that back, take our self-care back? And some things that come up for me is, reviewing relationships, reviewing my practices, my schedule with when I'm available, when I will show, when I will go on appointments, reviewing who I will work with, like my business model, and also even like reviewing chores in the family, who's doing what. Recently, my Cody and I split up some household duties and even like picking up and dropping off, and I feel so supported. It's been a huge blessing to to not feel like it's all on my shoulders, so having those honest conversations with your spouse is important as well. So, what are some things that we can do, Stephanie, that come to your mind that we can review?
Um, the one thing that I love to do is I go through this book. It's called Cultivate What Matters. It's a goal planner every year, and at the beginning of it, they ask questions like, "What fires you up? Um, who are the people that you enjoyed being alongside for the year?" That's maybe not an exact question, but they give you prompts like, who helped you this year, or who was alongside you. Maybe some things that didn't go well this year. It prompts you on different things like this. And I keep those books every year, and when I go through my new year, I go through the last couple of years, and I try to see, are there things that, are pretty consistent? Are there people that stick out that pretty consistently didn't really help my heart? Are there things pretty consistently that lifted me up? Are there things I'm doing in my life that are lifting me up? Are there words that stick out to me that are doing good things for me? Are there self-care practices like, that I treated myself to that are good for me? Are there therapies that I went to? Are there, mentors that I had that helped me, that stick out to me? They divide things into community, family, finances, health and wellness, home spaces, spiritual, work and learning, and quiet time. And they divide it in a way where you have to just break it down more into just like the words. They break those words into actions, and it digs deep for me. And like I said, I go into not just this year, but years before it. And it makes me really think about where my life has been leading to, and not just where I want it to go. Because it's about gradually, your life is going somewhere. It's not where you want it to go. It's like, where am I going? So I like that. It's like, what fires you up? What's happened this last year that makes your heart happy? Like, what did I do that
Yeah.
year that had an impact on my life, my business, and what made me feel good in the way of what was I doing to care for myself that did something for me? What made my health feel better? And what did I do that I did for myself, not others' expectations of me, but what did I do that I wanted to do?
Yeah.
I lived a lot of my life because people thought that's what I should do. And I think a lot of us do. It's like, I grew up and it was like, you're supposed to go to college. You're supposed to do this. You're supposed to cook supper for your kids. You're supposed to, I'm like, yes. But I realized really fast, I don't cook supper well. I'm horrible at it. But guess what? I work well. I can find a place that can help me make meals quickly. And I found a way to do things. But people have expectations on you and you go with it. And, we need to find things that help us do what's in our heart and do it well.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's
This
so
book,
good. What was that?
the books helped me.
Yeah.
Book.
You actually got me that book for Christmas. I need to pull it out, and, yeah, I know it's really good thought-provoking questions for
Yeah.
sure. Um, so I think what you just said is brilliant, and it's in line with the review series that we're doing. We really assess where you're at, like what has happened this year, what brought you joy, what didn't bring you joy, and then what would you like to add in your life in the future that would make things more efficient. So for me, So I think I've shared with you stuff. I've wanted to go to conferences and I've wanted to travel for years. And since we've been in an RV, I decided, okay, that this is my chance. I'm gonna travel because I don't want to be in this little bitty RV and crammed up in a small space. So I'm gonna make a point to travel more. But what I've decided or come to the conclusion of is I don't really enjoy traveling to big conferences and big events. Now, our Mega Mom events are always amazing. I like the small group stuff, but traveling without my family isn't enjoyable to me. So it's like it was kind of eye opening to me. I had something I've always wanted to do, and then I got to do it, and then now I'm like, "Nope, that's not something I really was missing out on. I thought I was, but it's not my scene." I don't enjoy, um, the big conferences. They're just, they're not my thing. What is my thing is eating healthier. So I've definitely made a point to try to cut out a lot of the process. I stopped eating out almost altogether. I make our lunches every day now, and dinners, of course. And so trying to eat healthy, provide healthy food for my family is something that's changed in my life and that I want to continue on in this coming year. I also started I started seeing a counselor about different things. I mean, this business is so stressful. Our lives are stressful, right? And so that's something I'd never really done before. And that has been a huge blessing. And I actually am going to a Christian counseling, and something that she's having me do is like meditate on certain scripture and bringing, God's promises out. And that's what I'm dwelling on. And it's really helped my mindset and, not to feel, overly concerned and anxiety about situations that are out of my control. So that, and then exercise, moving. I need to move a lot more, but I've noticed whenever I get my steps in, my 10,000 steps a day, and just being active, I feel so much better. I feel so much better. And so if I'm not prioritizing that because I'm so busy with work, I'm not going to be able to show up as my best self. I'm not going to have the clear head. I'm going to feel groggy. I've really, really noticed this year, stuff, how food affects me. So if I do cheat and have a lot of sugar or uh, a carb loaded meal without protein, I see almost an instant effect. Like I'm super tired, super brain fog. I want to take a nap pretty much right afterwards. I do not like the way it makes me feel. So those are some things that I have noticed for myself.
Yeah, it's really good that you're listening to your body. I think Katie and I, my friend and I, we the last couple of days, there's this place in town. There's like a little what is it called? When someone drives up a trailer and they have food in it.
Oh, it's food truck?
Yeah, food truck. There you go. They have lobster rolls and they're done for the season. So it is so good. It's like the best, literally one of the top 5 things I've ever eaten in my life. Lobster rolls. So good. So we went the last 2 days and we're like, we got to have these lobster rolls. But it's so heavy, like the butter and whatever. And it's just like, it's so good. But it's like at the end, it was just like, I just literally want to go straight to bed. So it's like, it's interesting what food will do to your body, right? So I do need to listen to my body as well. So that's really, really good. I can tell when I don't drink enough water, and I typically drink a ton of water, but by noon, if I've had 2 cups of coffee and I've only had a little bit of water, it's like, hey, Steph, hello, we got to drink some more water. So, yeah, I need to do that more too. But no, those are really good things, Jess, that you're doing.
I'm really just paying attention to the time with our kids. I mean, I was going to say our son, but not everybody has a son. But what I have noticed is it's so easy to be glued to our devices. So I'm paying attention to my screen time. We just allowed our son to have an iPhone. But the reason we did is because we can control the apps, we can control his contacts. So there's some really good parental controls on it. and I'm able to see, like, he tends to now he might be watching something great. He really likes to research stuff and watch things on YouTube, but if we would let him, he would be on it all day long. So we're limiting it to an hour a day during the week and 2 hours on the weekends, and on at certain time frames and all of that. And it's made me a lot more mindful of, all right, what am I spending my time on? What it's I didn't realize how distracted I have been, right? Just pretty much something constantly going, a screen, music, something all the time, and just having peace and quiet, maybe reading, reflecting, meditating, talking to people more, having more appointments, whether that be like a lunch appointment or coffee or even just with clients, but just, having that face to face interaction. It's so much better and for your mental health as well.
I agree. I feel so much better if I just put my phone down for even just a couple hours. Do you know there's some kind of, I don't know if it's right on your phone or if you have to download an app, but it tells you what you're spending your time on your phone. It says like so
Yes, it's under
many hours on
settings.
time. Yeah.
Yes.
All of a sudden I'll get a notification. It's like, wow. So it's kind of a game for myself to try to get those down, like on the social media part. So that is kind of nice that you're looking at that. What is the app that you have, Jess, for Henry for the iPhone that you
Well,
can?
it's not an app actually. It's just we're a family. So I added his Apple ID to my family, and then since he's a minor, I can control his time. I just click on his name under my family, and then I can click on screen time. And do you
Yeah,
have that same thing?
we do. So Macon really, he's had a phone, but he hasn't had like in his possession the phone for so long. The kid, I don't even know. We've been paying for a phone for 2 years, but he's had it for like a month. But he's so smart that he made himself a parent. So we, yeah,
Mm.
he got the phone for a little bit, and then he made himself a parent, so he can kind of get past those things. He's so smart. But
Well,
yeah, we're
yeah.
open to ideas on any other parental. I heard about this app that you can put on a phone that it mirrors the kid's phone. So if anyone knows of these things, I've been looking and looking and looking, and we actually went into our phone store, our Verizon store, and said, help. And they thought that they helped us. And we gave it back to them. And all of a sudden, there's a Snapchat that my sister in law got from that. Saw, oh, Macon's back online. I'm like, what? He's up to us for permission to download any apps, and we didn't get the thing. So
Yeah,
back home we go to take his phone. So, moms,
right.
help me.
Yeah. Well, okay, so some other things that, have been helpful for me is, meal prepping. I found this because I'm trying to eat healthier. I found this macro, meal prepping. I mean, you can find I'm sure you can do a Google search and find what you're looking for, but I was looking for high protein, and these are really delicious meals, like, they have carbs, they have, pasta or rice, but it's high protein, and so, and I'm not doing that for every single meal, but they're meals that Henry really, really enjoys. And I just, I do my Walmart pickup or Walmart delivery. I very rarely go into the store anymore. I hate it. It's a waste of my time. And I also end up spending money that I don't want to spend. So that, and I just also stuff this year I found I really love to cook. Like, it's just something, and oh, the other thing I found is I like doing laundry. And probably just being in the RV has made me appreciate and I like some of the domestic work again because I had hired other people to do it for so long, and so I could work. But what I find is folding laundry. It's like cathartic, like I can kind of wind down, and I mean, it's something I can do for my family, and I enjoy doing it, and I'm not thinking about anything stressful, and I'm not, on my phone or whatever. So I
Yeah.
started doing some of those things again.
I can see that, and with all my neck and back problems, like if I can ever do anything like what you're just saying, folding towels and stuff, I'm like, I appreciate the little things. If I can ever do like something because I feel like I am giving to my family, I don't like the little things are important to me again. And it's just like if I can feel like I'm doing something, it feels good again. So when I say no, gosh, no, I don't want to do laundry and stuff, it's like if I can, I don't take those things for granted anymore. It's like
Yeah.
if I'm able to do things, it's a blessing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can see that. I can
But
see that.
don't forget or don't be afraid to ask for help. So if you're in the opposite season, maybe you have little babies and toddlers at home and you're like, I can't find time for my business. So it's the opposite than Steph and I, than the season we're in. Then don't be afraid to ask for help. Whatever you do today, I think that's something else we need to remember. Find what works for you today. What's going to help you today or this year? It doesn't mean that that's something you have to do for the rest of your life, but if it's helpful to you in this moment, go ahead and, give it a try. So maybe having help with the house, once a week, or I actually had twice a week help for quite a while. And it was a huge blessing. And I was able to focus my time on work. And then when I was home, I didn't have to worry about the house. I could just focus on my family. But today my business is running, because I have my staff and I have my micro team going. So that goes, I get to show up where I want to show up. And therefore, I have more time at home and I want to be more present at home and I want to enjoy kind of the slower pace of life some. So I just wanted to put that out there. If you're thinking, oh my gosh, I would give anything to have help. I don't want to do laundry. I hate laundry. It's stressful. Well, then, don't do it for now. And that's okay.
One thing I was going to say about that, I was at a conference. It was actually a Global U conference. And one of the speakers there, I can't remember which one it was. She was doing like a home kind of little conference thing. She was saying that I think her mom was asking her, what can I do to help you at home? And she came up with something really awesome. She put a note on the fridge or something that says things you can do to help me while you're here. So like just picture like you're a busy mom at home and your mother-in-law or your mother comes to visit and she wants to help, right? So just like let's just say my kids have kids. They don't yet, and I can't wait to be a grandma, by the way, hint hint. But if your parents want to help you, she has a list of things you can do to help, and it would be like there's laundry, there's whatever. She would have a continuous list of ways that you can help if you want to help. So I think that would be brilliant. So for those of you that can't hire help, if you have parents that are always over asking, what can I do to help? And they're the parents that really want to help, or if you have friends that really want to help, the friends that come over that say they want to help and they don't, they're not going to help. But the ones that come over that really truly want to help, always have that list on the fridge that says these are the things that you can really do. And it can be empty the dishwasher or throw a load of laundry in the thing, or things that you are okay with someone actually touching. I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah, I like
And
that
that
idea.
way, someone comes over, if they actually start doing those things, you're okay with them touching it, and people just get used to doing those chores for you when they come over. I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I like that too, and kind of makes me think of we're so afraid to ask for help, we're so prideful, but then I think that we're afraid to ask because we think that people should maybe just know. This is probably a husband-wife conversation too, like, someone like, "You should just know because I just know." Like, "I can see the trash needs to be taken out, so you should just be able to see it." But the thing is, if we can't communicate it because what we do is we assume somebody should just know, and then we're resentful when they don't do it, right? We're afraid to ask for help, but then if they don't do it, we get upset because they didn't help us. So I think that's something else to just remember. Like it's okay to ask for help and then be super appreciative in the spouse relationship when they do help you. make sure you appreciate it, and it's not, you know, criticizing them for how they helped. And then also, it's not just like, oh, you know, no big deal. You know, we need to appreciate the help we get too. So anyway, all right. Well, that was a good conversation. We're at 30 minutes, so I think that we've thoroughly covered this reviewing of your self-care. You know, we didn't talk about bubble baths and massages and manicures, but the thing is, do what you need to do to feel good about yourself, to feel taken care of, to feel pampered. And some people, that is getting your nails done, and that's okay. So do what you need to do to take a little time. I'm not saying spend all of your time and all of your resources on being like a diva or whatever, but do what you need to do to take care of yourself, because you're gonna feel good about yourself, and you're gonna show up in a way that people respond to. If you feel like you're neglecting yourself, if you feel resentful, they're not going to want to do business with you. They're going to be, you know, your friends and family will feel awkward around you. You know, do what you can to make yourself feel good. All right. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.
Bye, ladies.